Good evening, and welcome to Dartmouth Memorial Stadium for what is a bittersweet night as we recognize our 20 graduating cheer and football student athletes. These student athletes have worked extremely hard during their 4 years, and we celebrate their accomplishments both on the field and in the classroom. We will first announce our graduating cheerleaders, who will be accompanied by their parents. Kelsey Almeida, accompanied by her parents, Erica and Joe. Samara Bruce, accompanied by her parents, Sandra and Mark. Leslie Cisneros, accompanied by her parents, Melanie and Pablo. Captain Hannah Kudo, accompanied by her parents, Maria and Duarte. Sydney Downs, accompanied by her parents, Erica and Michael. Reagan LeConte, accompanied by her parents, Diane and Paul. Moving forward, we will now introduce our Dartmouth High School graduating football student athletes, accompanied by their parents. Number 11, Graham White, accompanied by his parents, Jody and Rich. Number 14, Sean Martin, accompanied by his parents, Colleen and Mike. Number 9, JT Charrier, accompanied by his parents, Rachel and Jamie. Number 5, Jared Abreu, accompanied by his parents, Andrea and Chris. Number 1, Dylan Gomes, accompanied by his parents, Colleen and Richie. Number 62, Chase Lackey, accompanied by his parents, Cindy and Chuck. Number 65, Eli Johnson, accompanied by his parents, Angela and Martin. Number 53, Devin Wilson, accompanied by his parents, Camille and Brian. Number 77, Jacob Lancaster, accompanied by his parents, Rebecca and Tim. Number 52, Yamil Colon, accompanied by his parents, Betty and Sly. Number 33, Sean Jenkins, accompanied by his parents, Laura and Mike. Number 78, Luke Aronson, accompanied by his parents, Lucinda and Michael. Number 19, Ethan Amaral, accompanied by his parents, Lisa and Mark. Number 24, Caden Montero, accompanied by his parents, Rosalie and Antonio. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time, effort, and pride you placed into your athletic careers, and we wish you the best of luck with all your future endeavors. Folks, the 2023 graduating seniors of Dartmouth High School. Ladies and gentlemen, your Dartmouth High Indians! Good evening and welcome to Dartmouth Memorial Stadium as this football contest between the visiting the Bedford High School Whalers and your own Dartmouth High School Indians. This competition is being conducted according to the rules of the Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association and the Southeast Conference. We encourage you to demonstrate good sportsmanship no matter what your feelings or loyalty may be toward one team or the other.
Hello again, everybody. Jim Thompson alongside Paul Santos and Andy Thompson coming to you from Dartmouth Memorial Stadium, where tonight the Indians are hosting the Whalers of New Bedford High School. The Whalers come into this one winless on the season. 0-7 the Indians at 3-4. Both play out of the Southeastern Conference. Both basically out of this year's mass playoffs as well. But as Paul can allude to, he's been around the high school game a long time. This is still a rivalry no matter what the records are.
Yeah, they talk about bragging rights in New Bedford and Dartmouth. Always a great game, always well attended. Really a great rivalry. And, you know, both of these teams right here, evenly matched coming into tonight. You know, New Bedford has played much better the last few weeks, almost beating Brockton, giving them a good game. Bridgewater Raynham gave them a good game. But again, and speaking to the head coach before the game, Mark DeBrito, no more moral victories. They would like nothing more than to get their first win against rival Dartmouth.
And they're starting running back Jareen Goodine out with a concussion and out for the season. So Zachary Noon, who scored 3 touchdowns last week against Brockton, he'll get to start tonight. On the other hand, Andrew, the Indians 3-4 coming into the season. We knew they were young and they weren't physical, and that's kind of where the season's played out for them.
Yeah, I think Dartmouth's had some games where they've showed signs of the young kids really coming into their own, and other games they've shown that they're mistake-prone and turn the ball over. So if Dartmouth keeps the ball in their possession, doesn't have silly mistakes tonight, looking for a Dartmouth victory.
All right, let's honor this great country of ours. It's our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Hadley Fenton. Great job.
Well, that was quite special, Paul. A young lady. There's no band here tonight. They are in competition and out of town. And the young lady came up here, took the mic right out of Paul Santos' hand. And said, "Get out of the way, big boy. It's time to do the anthem." Great job.
Her name is Hadley Fenton, and she did an outstanding job right up here from the booth.
Well, you just add so much world of experience when it comes to singing. I know you're taking singing lessons. I actually talked to your singing instructor, and she said your lessons are paid for. You don't have to come back any longer. But Andrew, more importantly, before kickoff, senior night here at the stadium. Great night for the parents and the kids. Not only the football players, but band parents and everyone associated with athletics in the fall. Special night for these seniors that perhaps playing their last, definitely their last conference game here. They may have a tournament game. Thanksgiving's away this year. So what does it mean to those kids?
Yeah, I think, after you play 4 years with the same group of guys, for the majority of it, it's something special, something you will remember, especially against New Bedford. You can always go back and talk about that last game with the core guys you came in with. So it's definitely a special night for a lot of these kids and their families.
Well, New Bedford's going to kick it away to start this one. They kick it to the near side, and it's Chase Fenno, and Fenno gets across the 25 and out to the 26-yard line where he's knocked down there.
Dartmouth Indians are in their home green uniform tops with the white noodles, the white pants, the white helmets, the green stripe on the top.
Diakite is in tackle, I believe.
Logo. They will start off first and 10.
Well, the Indians have only averaged 8 points on offense in the last 4 games, and they're going up against a New Bedford defense that's done a pretty good job this year. So this is going to be interesting to see if the Indians can get back what they had a little bit earlier in the year offensively and do something here on this very first possession of the night.
Well, right on cue, Paul. Ricky White sends out Jackson Hart at the quarterback spot. There he is, number 12.
The senior, along with Dylan Gomes, another one of the seniors, Marcus Andrews, a sophomore, and Jalen Adams.
Yeah, we saw quite a bit of Nico Morris earlier on in the season, but Hart has also played some quarterback earlier on, so let's see how this works out for Dartmouth.
And Hart's going to hand it off. Just running sideways is the running back. Devin Vera made the tackle. Louis Freitas was the ball carrier. Loss of 3 on the play. Paul, you surprised about the small crowd across the way from New Bedford?
Well, yeah, because I think, anytime you get Dartmouth and New Bedford together, I was expecting a big New Bedford contingent to come over here to the stadium tonight. But, hey, this is the way it goes, and we'll see what happens.
It's a 2nd and long, and New Bedford sniffs it out, and the Indians lose a couple more. That's Ray Grumlick, the ball carrier. And Mitch Thompson was there to greet him in the backfield.
It looks like Thompson just came off that edge, didn't get blocked, and just blew that play up. Gremlick had nowhere to go, and Jackson Hart didn't really even have a chance to get that clean handoff.
So the Indians starting off this game rather poorly. 2 runs. They're 13 yards in the hole. They run it to the left side and getting a big gainer and more for the first down is Andrews. Marcus Andrews, the ball carrier. Picks up 15 in the first, Paul.
Well, 13-yard gain, as you said. Marcus Andrew really taking advantage of his speed. We've seen him all year really execute well, and he turned that corner, turned on the jets. You could see him going to where the first down marker was. What a great response by Dartmouth to have those 2 plays where they ended up losing 3 and to gain it all back on 3rd down. Big conversion early on in the game here by Dartmouth.
Yeah, they're going to run the jet sweep here to the near side. This is Andrews. He's across the 40 and out to about the 43-yard line. Calvin Cruz came up to make the stop for the Whalers.
Andrews with back-to-back positive gains here, 1 for 13, another 1 for 5. And if the Indians can get this running game going, that would certainly be one way to control the clock and get some points on the board early.
Gramlich in there at the running back spot. Jackson Hart is the quarterback here tonight. And here's Gremlich twisting and turning his way out to the 45-yard line. He'll be short by about 5 yards. Make it 4 yards. 3rd down and 4 now for Jackson Hart.
That was Gramlich's first carry of the night. I like the way he plays. You know, he's really a kind of a grinder out there, moves his legs. That's a hard yardage on the inside. Had a nice game against Old Rochester in one of the earlier telecasts that we had. And that time really converged on him. And once again, the Indians need to convert on 3rd down.
And before this play gets off, we have whistles down there at field side. I think that Dartmouth would have been in motion. They're backing up. And it's a delay of game. Andrew, you'll see that in a young quarterback.
Yeah, that play took a little while to get in. I could see Coach White with Jackson Hart on the sideline taking some extra time, usually more than a normal play would be. But it's an important play for the Indians to get going on the first opening drive. And, you know, his first real varsity start. I know he got some time earlier this season, but it's important for him to feel confident and get this drive going.
So instead of 3rd and short, now they're looking at 3rd and 8. Opening series of this game, 8:52 remaining in the opening quarter. Jim Thompson, Paul Santos, Andy Thompson here to welcome all of you in the town of Dartmouth and across the world live on YouTube. Hart still got it, throws out here near sides. Got it completed, not going anywhere is Marcus Andrews. Pimentel there to stop. Paul, New Bedford did a good job stretching this out.
Yeah, good job stretching out. And also, that play is a timing play, too, with Andrews having to jump kind of backwards through the timing off and the blocking off, just a hair. But good pursuit from the inside by the Whalers and forcing a punt.
So Dartmouth getting 1 first down on that first possession, converting that big 3rd and 13. Not able to convert this time, penalty hurting them, and they are punting the ball away.
It's high, end over end punt, and that ball is loose. It's going to go out of bounds. So it's off of New Bedford's Noons. And fortunately for the Whalers, the ball went out of bounds here on the Dartmouth side. Logan Aruju there for the Indians on a special teams play. And fortunately for the Whalers, the ball went over the boundary. And they'll have it 1st and 10. Their first series of the game. We have no score.
Well, that's Zachary Noons. He had 3 touchdowns last week for New Bedford against Brockton, but that time the ball bouncing away from him. I think he was expecting to not have a fair catch, run that ball back, try to get some advantage in the field position. But fortunately for the Whalers, the ball went out of bounds because Dartmouth could have pounced on that ball there.
Murray Harris in there at quarterback. It's accounted for 5 touchdowns between running and passing on the season. And it's a pitch to the near side to Nunes, and the Indians right there to make the stop.
Eli
Johnson. So New Bedford gets off to a slow start. Pitch here to the near side.
Yeah, keep an eye on Nunes. He's the guy last week, as we said, with those 3 touchdowns. He did a majority of the ball carrying for the New Bedford Whalers. The Bedford Whalers like to spread it out, as you can see right here. They run the spread offense. So keep an eye on Harris. Harris will put the ball up for New Bedford.
Sends a man in motion far side. Harris going to throw his way. Sends a floater out there. Indians have it well received. Graham White there for the Indians, along with Dylan Gomes, as Nunes was in on the reception.
Nice pursuit there by Dartmouth. You got Jalen Adams, you got Gomes come to the ball. Nice to string that play out. I know it's a spread. They got to spread the defense out, but everybody's got to stay home and do their job, and it looks like Dartmouth did that in that play.
So they got back to the original line of scrimmage.
See Dartmouth and New Bedford trying the same play, and it didn't work too well for either.
They sent 3 wides to the near side. Here's Harris, 3-step drop, throws over the middle, and it's picked! Picked by the Indians. Chase Fenno. Fenno's down the sideline and deep inside Whaler territory.
Dangerous pass there by Harris. Nice play by Fenno from his free safety position, just reading that play the whole time over the middle. Almost looks like New Bedford Whaler offensive player fell down, and Chase does a nice job getting the ball back upfield, making some ground for the Indians. 1st and 10, and at the 15-yard line.
That's about a 35-yard return there by Fenno after the interception at midfield. So look at this. The Indians knocking on the door. Big turnover there by New Bedford on their first possession.
First turnover of the game now. Younghart is going to give it to Gramlich, and Gramlich smashes his way perhaps for a yard. Ran into Maldonado, Christian Maldonado. Gain of a yard, 2nd down and 9. Everything looks so difficult, Paul, for the Indians on offense.
Yeah, they haven't been moving the ball at all, especially the last 3-4 weeks. We were talking about how they're averaging only 8 points on offense. So here is such great field position. You almost feel like you have to punch it in here. It has to be a touchdown when you get this kind of break on a turnover.
Here's Hart. Rolls weak side, throws, end zone. Got a man out there and overshoots him. Graham White, the coach's son, was the intended receiver. It'll bring up 3rd down and long.
A tough pass to make by young Jackson Hart, but I mean, he put it in a position again where you're not giving the defensive player a chance to make an interception or a bad mistake, give it right back to Bedford. So it's between the man in the sideline. So if it's incomplete, it's incomplete. You live another down, especially in this kind of field for the Indians. They need to get 3 or 7 on the board here.
All right. Ball fake. Throws. End zone. Incomplete pass. That pass was intended for Donovan Burgo, and he couldn't hold on to it. May have been a question whether he was even inside the boundary, Paul.
Well, it looked like he had the possibility of making this catch. Let's see right there. Well, I don't know. The ball was bobbled anyway, and it was some pretty good coverage there by Diakite. But, unfortunate for the Indians, they can't establish the running game, so it forces them to make the passes. And then when the passes are not complete, well, the drive dies. They're going to try a field goal.
32-yarder by Freitas is up, and it is good. From 32 yards out, 5:14 remaining here in the opening quarter. The Indians take the early lead.
Well, one of the things that's really good for the Indians is they have a guy that can kick. right? Freitas has been doing it all year. Extra points, almost automatic. Field goals, 30 yards, almost automatic. So, hey, they stopped them, right, after a big turnover by New Bedford. They figure it's a gift that Dartmouth is even down in that territory. They can't get into the end zone. At least they come away with points.
Yeah, and then, both teams struggle with the offense. Both teams are having a rough season. To get something on the board early, to get the players going, get a lead, make New Bedford have a little bit more pressure than 0-0. Now New Bedford feels they might have to come down and get a score to stay with the Dartmouth team. Make them force mistakes like they just did in the last drive. Something that the Indians can do and shown they can do all season is play good defense and force turnover. So put a little pressure on Bedford there. I'm glad to see Indians come out with 3 instead of nothing there.
Seemed like the Indians have really struggled on the interior run. The only time that Dartmouth really had a big gain was when Andrews had that 13-yard gain around the side. Perhaps runs around the side would be something that the Indians could pursue when they get the ball back the next time. Throwing on second down, too, I mean, that was fine if it had worked, but once you go empty on second down, now you're back to third and long, and then you are in a must-throw situation.
And this is Nunes from his own 5, running near side. He's got a lane. The Indians try to close it up. He's still on his feet across the 35 and out to about the 37-yard line, where he's finally taken down there by Maddox Dupree. That was a nice return by Nunes. It sets New Bedford up in good shape. Their second series of the game with just over 5 to play. They trail by a score of 3-0. Paul, one more block. He had a lot of runway to go.
Yeah, we've mentioned Zachary Nunes. He's the guy to keep an eye on there, number 7, the running back. Really small, 5'6", 173. He is a junior, and we talked about his size being small, but he has that quickness and that elusiveness, and that's what makes him a dangerous running back for New Bedford.
And this is Nunes, and he might get back to the line of scrimmage. JT Charrier right there to get him around the waist and get him down. No gain, second down and 10. Remember, folks, tune in to Facebook Live, the Paul Santos Show, and you can go back and watch it at any time. And he's going to have a special guest in a couple of weeks. We've got it under wraps, but major star, I understand, Paul.
Yeah, major star coming on the show, the voice of Dartmouth football, Dartmouth basketball, Mr. Jim Thompson, who has been on the show before. And the last time he was on the show, that was a ratings bonanza. So we thought, we got to get him back. We've been on long enough now that we go back to recurring guests, and we get the top ones to come back.
I'm like Rodney Dangerfield on the old Carson show.
That's right, exactly.
Second and long here for Harris. And Harris is going to use his wheels. He's got room. Harris has got himself a first down and more. Harris still on his feet inside the Indian 40 and down to the 38-yard line. Chase Fenno, who has an interception in this game, made a nice open field tackle down there just inside the 40. Paul, this kid's an athletic kid.
Yeah, that's about a 24-yard gain right there for Amari Harris. And you have to think that this is a play that, can be very successful here at the high school level, all levels actually. You saw the Patriots game last week. You get the quarterback to move, and sometimes the linebackers have to adjust. They can't. Nice gain there by New Bedford, and they are in Dartmouth territory and in business.
This is Nunes, and Nunes doesn't get back to the line of scrimmage. Slammed down there by Josh Carrero.
Yeah, nice play by Crowd, getting through the line of scrimmage, just whipping him down, and nice play by Charrier as well to get through the New Bedford offensive line.
Paul, as I sit here, you and I did the Brockton game, and we kept saying, why doesn't the Brockton quarterback run him more? The Indians couldn't stop him. And the first half was close. I don't know if it was Brockton. Was it the Brockton game?
Yes.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the third and fourth quarter, the kid's running all over the place.
Yeah, right. And we were thinking, why did they do that before?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I see this young fella here. He's athletic. He's got speed. And if you don't have somebody shadowing him, you're in for a long night. There he goes again, and he picks up about 4 or 5 yards. He took a solid pop along the far sideline. Chase Lackey, one of the guys to get him across the far side there. 3rd down and 5 now. 2 down territory early in the game, Paul?
Well, I mean, you're in the ballpark of two-down territory. It's because one of the determining factors would be where's the fourth down marker going to be. If it's 4th and 1 and you're at the 29-yard line, yeah, I think it could be four-down territory. But big timeout right here to discuss with 2:15 to go in quarter number 1.
You know, so you folks at home, perhaps you former players who played many moons ago, this basically is the end of the Dartmouth High School season. Even though there is obviously a Thanksgiving Day game, it looks like they're not going to make the tournament. So, Andrew, in 60 seconds, can you try to explain how crazy the next 2 weeks are going to be?
Well, I don't think you're going to see a lot of teams that have a ton of victories. So it could be a game like this, similar to this. Teams who have losing records who don't make the playoffs. So it's a lot of consolation games, kind of similar like a round robin, I'd say, where different teams, fairly local, try to schedule games that, you know, you might not see all the time. I know a couple of years ago we saw Dartmouth play Stang, or Dartmouth would play Somerset. So you could see some different local teams, which is nice. But, you know, I think the hardest part at this level is keeping the kids engaged. You really have nothing to play for this term. There's no state tournament. So, you know, hopefully these kids can stay determined and want to get better towards working towards next year.
I don't think I could have done better myself, Paul. It's a crazy system. Here's Harris. Harris looking. Now he's going to tuck and run it. And the Indians have him corralled, and down he goes. J.T. Charrier gets him down by about a yard short of what he was looking for.
Nice defensive play here by the Indians. You can see on the bottom of your screen, Jalen Adams kind of dropping back in that zone, preventing that short pass to the New Bedford offensive player. But way to stay home for the Indians, and nice pursuit to the ball. They're not getting behind or not letting Harris get up the field without someone in his face.
Exactly the situation that we were talking about before. Are we in four-down territory? Apparently we are at 4th and 2.
Nunes stands to the right of the quarterback, Harris. Gonna throw it quickly, and it's incomplete. Les Johnson had it in his belly. Couldn't hold on to it.
He had him. It was a good pass, just unfortunate drop for the Whalers, and a nice turnover on downs for the Indians.
Usually on a 4th and 1, you might see something, you know, some quick hitter up the middle or a quarterback keeper or something like that. So it was a good call to make this.
My old coach's eyes say I turned my head to see where I was going to run.
Before you got the ball.
Before you got the ball.
Right.
1st and 10 Indians holding New Bedford on downs, and this play is blown up right from the beginning. Greg Grimlick said, can someone block for me? James Lope said, well, no one wants to block me, so I'll just tackle you. And that's a 3-yard loss for the Indians.
Yeah, I think the tough part for tonight for the Indians is going to be, you know, Jackson Hart hasn't had a lot of varsity throws. So if you're the Whaler defense, you're going to just key on the read option, and just either someone's got to take the quarterback, someone's taking the running back and go. I don't know how much the Whalers are really worrying about the pass at this point in the game.
And this time Hart's going to keep it. Hart looking for running room. Tries to hurdle a guy at the 30, but it's taken down there. Calvin Cruz making the stop for the Whalers. What was the scouting report, Andrew? You're pretty tight with the coaches. And prior to the season, I know he and Morris were battling out. This young fella's only a sophomore. What do the coaches see in him?
I think he's very fast and very athletic. I know that if he gets an open space, he can break it. He's one of those guys, you know, like years past, the quarterbacks could get a 50, 60-yard touchdown run off a good draw. But again, it's, you know, you can see some of the early issues having different cadences and delay a game. So if he gets an open field, he's very dangerous, I think, and that's the difference between he and Nico. I think Nico can read it a little bit better with his experience on the varsity level, and I think that, you know, Nico has a little bit better arm at this point, but looks like the Indians are going to try to just keep with the ball on the ground and maybe come out with a pass every now and again to keep the defense honest.
Well, Paul, we're through the first 12. The Indians have the lead at 3-0. So if I were someone in Vegas, that means they might only score 5 more points, so we're looking for a field goal and a safety for the rest of the game?
Yeah, exactly. A lot can change, of course, as the game goes along. We've seen that before. Look at that Brockton game, hardly any scoring. Next thing you know, they ended up with 50 points before the game was over. I don't think you're going to see that. But what we did see was, points off of a turnover. You had the big interception, which was by Fenno. He picked it up around midfield, ran it 35 yards back deep into New Bedford territory down to about the 15. Unfortunately, Dartmouth wasn't able to convert in the red zone and get a touchdown, but they've got the foot of Louis Freitas, who is really a guarantee anywhere around 30 yards and shorter, and right there was a 32-yard field goal, and that's where we stand right now with the 3-0 Dartmouth lead.
New Bedford looking for their first win on the season. And I believe, Andrew, they've only won 1 football game in the last 2 years.
Yeah, it's been a tough situation for New Bedford. It's not the easiest place to coach, I would assume, and a lot of different distractions. And with COVID last year, it's been a difficult couple of years.
Here's Hart, rolling, throws, far sideline, and it's picked off. Anthony Diakite picks it off.
So just watching that play develop, I could see Jackson Hart just throws it too late. Andrews appears to be open and just throws it just a hair too late, like letting Diakite cut in front of that pass. But if he throws it a little early, and that's the difference I think with Nico and Hart is Nico would have let that ball go a little earlier to get the ball in Andrews' hands, and Jackson kind of didn't see it right away and waited too long.
Well, each team now with a turnover. Let's see what the Whalers can do with it. They have 1st and 10, just inside the Indian 40-yard line. This is Nunes. Nunes struggling for yardage. And he picks up a solid run. That was Eli Johnson. I'm actually going to say his knee touchdown a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage. Give him a gain of 3. Be 2nd down and 7. 11.5 to go. You're watching Dartmouth High School football via Dartmouth Community Media and also YouTube TV Live. There's a pitch to the near side. That's Nunes, and Nunes crashes his way inside the 25 down to the 24. He's going to gain a 13 and a 1st down, but I believe we have laundry on the field down there at the 28-yard line.
So you can see, I believe, on this right there, number 10 in this slot, it looks like Jalen Adams was getting held the whole time trying to get the pursuit on the outside. Actually, good call by the referees here tonight. Well done.
You notice, Paul, young guys, they pick on us older guys,
Yeah, you can pick that up so quickly. The referee tonight on the field, Greg Kamara, assisted by Dustin Cormier, Mike Robles, Clint Cabral, Chris Bell, and up here running the clock, Darmel Mall.
2nd down long here for Harris. 3-step drop, being chased. Now he's going to dump a little middle screen, and the Indians read it well. That was J.T. Charrier taking down the ball carrier, Nunes, on the middle screen.
Yeah, nice play by Cherry here, staying home, reading the play. Probably saw this in film. Their coaches probably went over this all week long. Nice sure tackle by Cherry. He's one of the more sure tacklers on this team. He's always in the right spot, and is a kid you can count on.
All right, Paul, your football experience, 3rd and 11. What do you call it?
Well, you got to put it up. I mean, put it in the hands of your quarterback, Amari Harris, who has the ability to make some nice passes and do a couple of drops. If you get your receivers to haul the ball in, they could have a chance for a 1st down here.
Now here's Harris. Straight back, throws. It nearly intercepted down there at the 24-yard line by the Indians' Dylan Gomes.
Looked like somebody had a chance to catch that.
It looked like Fells, number 4, had a chance to catch it right through his hands, it looked like. And I don't think if Fells didn't touch that ball, Dylan Gomes might have had a lot of running room.
Quite a few incomplete passes tonight, Jim. A lot of times the quarterbacks, both teams dropping back, trying to connect up with their receivers, and either the receivers have dropped it or the balls have been overthrown.
That had a little juice on it. 4th down and 11 now for Amari Harris.
Interesting play call here.
Second time going for it on 4th down. But this is 4th and 11.
Harris has got time over the middle. He's got a man. That's enough for a 1st down and more. And running deep in the secondary. And still on his feet going for a touchdown. Desmond Brundle.
Whoa.
38 yards.
Threw it on the seat to him and just good blocking up front by the Whalers allowed that play to develop, and just some missed tackles there by the Indians, and we got a ball game now. And 4th and 11. I don't know what happened there on that coverage, but it just found the window, and there it was.
What a gutsy call there by New Bedford, right? They went forward on 4th down before, but it was a 4th and a long one. 4th and 11, right? You're thinking, wow, they're going to drop back and just kind of put all the cards on the table. And how about that run after the catch by Brunskill?
Silva knocks it through, and that gives the Whalers their first lead of the game with 9 minutes and 39 seconds to go in the opening half. A score here from Memorial Field. New Bedford High 7, Dartmouth 3. And I'll tell you, Andrew, who's going to be a sore guy tomorrow morning if we can run that back, fellas, in the truck. I think Dylan Gomes is going to feel that tomorrow morning. That was like a car crash deep in the Indian secondary.
Well, Brunskill did a great job catching the ball in the first place, but then the way he just kind of banged his way and spun his way from the 10-yard line into the end zone was pretty impressive. They talk about run after the catch. That wasn't just sprint after the catch. That was like bang and twist and plow your way into the end zone.
That was a grown man run.
It's great to have Ed Pereira, WNBH, been around a long time. Sitting next to us, live radio broadcast. Fenno and Abreu back deep for the Indians. Low kick, and this is Fenno. Fenno looking for running room and ran right into his own man. And now there's a little extracurricular activities going on down there.
Fenno really got hit, and I don't know if he got hit in the manner that he took exception to. I thought I saw his upper body kind of snap back, so I'm not sure. I have to see the replay in order to look at it more closely.
Looked like there was blocking away from the play, in the top of the play, number 9 and top right. You can see them going at it, away from the play. And then a little extra pushing after. At least the Dartmouth kids didn't do anything silly to start a complete melee, which is good on them. They kind of got him away, didn't do anything aggressive. You like to see that sportsmanship and, well coached, and let the referees handle it. You're not the referee. Don't do anything silly where you get ejected for a game next week or miss a game. And
the referee is Greg Kamara.
Good blocking in the back called against the Indians. Dead ball foul, personal foul, both teams.
How do you get a personal foul for the kid who got shoved on the ground and thrown to the ground? I don't get it.
Well, the Indian coach is upstairs, not very happy. Run that again, fellas. Could we do that again? Any chance?
Keep an eye on the top of the screen.
There's 9.
He gets thrown to the ground and pushed. I don't know. And it looks like Nico Morris is now coming into the game for the Indians.
Well, Coach Ricky White making a quarterback change. Sound familiar to you fellas here in New England?
I don't hear any Nico chants, though.
This will have to defer. Who's the thrower? Who's the runner between these two?
Morris is a pretty good runner.
Morris is the thrower.
Just answering the radio voice of Greater New Bedford. That's Ray Gremlick on the carry.
Runs it inside the left tackle spot. Gets it up over the 20 to about the 22.
Picked up a gain of 4.
Four on the play for the second down and 6.
You know, Paul, the way technology is advanced, isn't there a better way for Ed Pereira to get in touch with us? I mean, could he text us or something, maybe?
Yeah, maybe send us a text, maybe an email.
Well, Mark Enright's not here tonight, so the poor guy's doing the game by himself.
Second down and 6. Put out to the near side over on the left.
You notice he didn't ask us for any help. Did you notice? Here's Morris. He's looking for room, and he's going to be slammed down in the backfield. Christian Maldonado. And that's a big loss. This Indian offense, Paul, we talked about earlier, they've struggled all season long.
And it seems like even more lately. I mean, it looked like he was going to throw that time, went back into the pocket, and here came the rush. And he really wasn't able to find a receiver, looked through his reads, not able to find anything, tried to run away at the last second, but he ends up getting tackled. And now the Indians have a third down and very long.
And New Bedford looks much bigger, Andrew, would you say?
They do, and it looks like they're actually playing solid, sound defense. They're not making a lot of mistakes that we've seen the Whalers team make in the past, and they're getting a lot of pressure up front, which is a troublesome thing for Dartmouth.
Morris throws, got a completion. Ooh. And that's going to be close to a first down. Graham White on the reception. That's very close to the marker, but Paul, I think he's going to be a yard short.
Yeah, they needed something like 15 yards to get the first down, and he was just a yard short. And that's unfortunate because that was a nicely executed play by Morris. We haven't seen a lot of completed passes here tonight by either team. They successfully did that time, but he was not able to get anywhere near what he needed. Well, he was a yard short of what he needed. So it's 4th and 1, and the Indians will have to punt the ball back to New Bedford, with New Bedford having a 7-3 lead.
Too deep in Indian territory to go out on 4th and 1 with an offense that sputtered us a little bit. Ricky's showing not much confidence. Who could blame him? There's a punt that takes a good Indian roll. It's still rolling end over end. Inside the 25-yard line, down right there. Clock stopped here at the stadium. 7:43 to go. It's the Whalers 7, Indians 3. Paul, just about what we thought.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be a close game. It was interesting, too, because I was looking at the Standard Times assessment as to what was going on. Our good friend Laurie Loss, she's actually predicting a New Bedford win here tonight, although close game. As you look at the teams and who they've played, common opponents. I always like to look at that common opponent thing. You can't always go by it, but when you see New Bedford giving Brockton a run for it and Bridgewater Raynham a run for it, where Dartmouth struggled against both of those teams, you thought, well, New Bedford's going to give you a game tonight. It's still early. Keep the score down. Dartmouth still can come back and win, of course, at 7-3, but it is what we expected. Close game between Dartmouth and New Bedford.
Harris hands it off to Nunes, and Nunes a couple, perhaps. Eli Johnson there for the Indians. 7.5 to go. You're watching Dartmouth High School football, cablecast by DCTV, Dartmouth Community Media, and, of course, all you folks on YouTube around the world.
Thought we might see a little bit more out of Nunes, given the fact that he had 3 scores against Brockton last week.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those games where it's a Harris game right now, and Burnsville, they're both 2 of the best athletes on the field for them right now, but I know it's an interesting game so far for the Whalers. Sometimes they look like they're world beaters, and other times it looks like they can't get 2 yards. So it's an interesting game right now for both teams.
That's a New Bedford timeout.
So give us a update on the upcoming Paul Santos live show.
Well, we have a number of interesting guests coming up. We have a young singer, Aaliyah. We've been getting a lot of younger singers, teenagers, early 20s, that really trying to hone their skills, and some of them want to have music careers and go into music as a profession, so we really like to, bring the young ones on. And then, sometimes you like to bring the older, graying at the temples, experienced kind of
Well,
guest.
Are you trying to get at that I'll be on in a couple of weeks? Was that in reference? I mean,
Yes.
There's age discrimination and
Ageism.
ageism.
Yeah. We don't want to have ageism.
Yeah,
So yes, Jim Thompson, the voice of
trouble.
DC TV, Dartmouth Community Media, is going to be our guest, and I'm looking forward to this because the last time he was on, it was fantastic. We had a great time.
Harris turns, throws it out here near side. Johnson has it. Johnson looking to break a tackle and around the ankles and holding on for dear life is Jared Abreu.
A nice play by Abreu, open field, way to hang on tight and just wait for your defenders to come help you out here. New Bedford had it blocked pretty well if they didn't, if it wasn't for Abreu out here on the outside.
Paul, the last time I was on the show, people were texting in live, and a texter said, "Great job, Dad," and I didn't recognize the number. And my first wife sent me a text and goes, "Is there something I should know about?" So I have to be careful on your show.
Yeah, right. You never know who's looking in.
You never know who's looking in. And Andrew texted in and go, "Do I have a brother or sister I'm unaware of?"
Probably.
That's terrible. 3rd down and 12. New grandfather that I am. Here's the rush from the backside. Still with the quarterback. He's not going to break that tackle right there. Chasing. Good chase there by the Indians. Colin makes the tackle.
Oh, nice pursuit there by Bergo on the backside. It's a nice tackle there. It saves about 4 or 5 yards and gets the ball back from the Indians.
Andrews and Fenno back deep, standing at their own 45. So with just under 5.5 to go, if all goes right, the Indians should have good field position.
This next possession would be a great opportunity for the Indians to come down the field as time expires here in the first half to try to get some points.
This is a short kick.
Fire.
Very short. Ooh. And it gets a great bounce. That looked like a shank if you've ever played golf. That thing went high and wide right off his foot. Still good field position down here at the 42-yard line. Indians trailing by a score of 7-3, 5:02 to go. Second quarter. Paul, we've talked about the offense ad nauseum. 5 minutes here, it'd be nice to take the lead in it at the half.
Yeah, they really have a nice opportunity here. Good field position, plenty of time with 5:02 to go and counting. Really a chance against a New Bedford team that has not had success all year, right? Bring the ball down into enemy territory, but we haven't seen it yet. They really need to get in gear offensively.
And Gremlick, the ball carrier. Maldonado says, "Hi, how are you on senior night? I hope you graduate and go on to a good college."
Yeah, so right now the offensive line for Dartmouth is hoping Maldonado graduates and gets out of town too, because he's been a problem up front for them on the run game. That's about the fourth or fifth tackle he's been in the backfield for the Whalers.
Now, speaking to head coach Mark DeBrito before the game, he had indicated they had lost some linemen, two-way linemen earlier in the season, and he's got them back, including tonight. So perhaps the return of some of these starters has helped defensively and offensively along the line. Should be offside New Bedford.
Looks like Lopes jumped.
And that's something Coach DeBrito will get really upset about. You're right on the ball. All you got to do is watch the ball.
Now watch this on the replay. See the referee on the far left there? You're going to watch him jump up, but watch this. Flags are going to fly. Watch the guy down the bottom. And this guy goes, what the heck? Okay, I'll throw mine. What the heck? I got nothing else to do. Not my call. It's the line judge. Well, I'll just throw that anyway. Make it look good. That's Gremlick across the 50. Close to the first down. Going to be shy by about a yard. I think Andrew Paul would be a good official. He'd do the same thing anytime to get a little FaceTime.
Oh, yeah.
The guy watching the football, those guys throw the flag, and the guy standing 9 yards back goes, "Hey, wait a minute, this game's live on YouTube. Let me check that sucker."
Yeah.
I think he was trying to get his hand in there, and his hand kind of got stuck, and and he was trying to pull it out.
Yeah.
Well, the Indians here go for it and get a first down.
Down.
Third down carry. Right up the middle is Gremlick.
That
Lopes,
was
the
big.
tackler.
Came at the right time, too. They really needed to keep this drive going. We haven't seen too much of this. We haven't seen too many running first downs for the Dartmouth Indians on offense.
No, and with 3 minutes, just over 3 minutes going to half, it's an important time for Dartmouth now. If they can get in after at the half, maybe down 1 or up 3, that's a big help for the Indians and could be demoralizing a little bit for the Whalers. They played a really good first half.
Approaching the 3-minute mark, fake the jet sweep. Is Morris throwing deep down the middle, intended for Dylan Gomes, incomplete.
Yeah, good coverage there. I know he got up looking for a flag, but it didn't look like there was much contact there. It's a nice defensive play.
Calvin Cruz.
Play by Calvin Cruz.
Interesting call there by Dartmouth, 1st and 10, putting the ball up. It's not like the running game has been a big success, but they did just get the first down on the ground, and maybe they figured, hey, here's an opportunity, but really threw into triple coverage.
And Andrews, he's out for a gain of 4.
I think he was just 1 block away from springing that. Nice play by the Whaler defender, just getting inside that block and making that play turn inside instead of getting to the outside boundary.
Seems like they've had a little bit more success going to the outside than to the interior.
Bates' team making substitutions. You know, I've been watching the defensive front of New Bedford. 3 guys with their hands in the dirt, playing an old-style 3-4 defense, and they're causing havoc with the Indian offensive line. And Dartmouth now calls timeout. 2 minutes, 10 seconds to go. 7-3 Whalers. That guy's sending a note, Andrew, to Paul Santos. So what date am I coming on the show? Got to send that up by Sparrow. I saw a sparrow flying around here. Andrew, at halftime, there's no halftime show, so Paul will have to send back when that official will be. And
well, that would be an interesting interview, what it's like to be an official and all that. They're actually short officials.
Can you see why? I know I'm not supposed to say this, Peter Chase. Have you ever seen the parents of some of these kids?
Well,
that's why they don't.
Being an official is not an easy gig.
Parents, cool your jets. Not all of you. Some of you. Cool your jets. Your kid at Dartmouth High School is one kid that went big time. That's Jordan Todman. I'm not just talking about football parents.
Right. No, it's true.
You're playing at Dartmouth High. Let your sons and daughters who play athletics, let them have a great time. Nothing better than your high school years. There's Morris near side. He's going to throw it. Got a man out there and in out of the hands of Graham White.
Wow.
And they throw a flag.
Yikes. I thought that was really good coverage by New Bedford. I didn't see anything on that. Maybe I'll see differently on the replay, but it looked like Graham White had the chance to go get the ball and put it right on him, and it looked like he just kind of both got there at the same time.
Diakite came flying over to make a nice play.
Husband was celebrating a little bit prematurely.
I can't wait to see this on the replay. Let's have a look-see here with all the good folks over here.
Wow.
Interferences where? Show me that.
Yeah,
Looked like he reached in right when the ball arrived.
Looked like it was a very good defensive play. What you want to teach your kids, go get the ball, don't hit the defender, and that's what he did.
He has every right to the football, as does the wide receiver.
Break for the Indians, see if they can capitalize.
Well, they've eaten up about 3 minutes of the clock, Paul.
This is what you want, because you don't want New Bedford to have a chance to come back and score.
This is Andrews on the jet sweep, and Whalers wrap them up. Good perimeter defense there by New Bedford High School.
Andrews on the carry. Lopes in the stop.
Lopes made the tackle, gain of 2. Second and long. There's your clock in the right-hand corner of your screen.
Well, the Indians really want to get a touchdown this time rather than a field goal, but it is important to note that you are approaching field goal range, and Louis Freitas has been spot on throughout the season. So if it comes down to it, rather than come up with no points, if that presents itself, which hopefully it doesn't, the Indians are certainly capable of putting up another 3 spot.
Morris. And he eludes one down the sideline and run across the boundary there. He was thinking about it, Andrew. I'm sure it was in the back of his head, Ricky White yelling at him, no, don't.
Yeah, going to the short side of the field, there's nothing really there besides Jalen Adams. And if you're going to try to force it, the defender's right there. So smart play, don't throw it across the field, don't do anything silly. Get upfield, get out of bounds. You're hopefully within territory for Louis Freitas to kick a field goal if you don't get a first down here. But, the last thing you want to do is do something silly like that. And it's a smart play by Nico Morris to tuck it, get upfield, get out of bounds.
3rd and about 5. Morris near side. Throws, and it's almost intercepted in and out of the hands of Calvin Cruz, who's going to do 21 push-ups.
That could have been big trouble for Dartmouth if that was picked off. I mean, he had a lot of running room. There was not many people in between he and the end zone.
This might be a little bit outside of field goal range, but let's see. We're talking about, what, a 45-yard field goal or so?
I think
Let's snap it back 7.
they're going to go for it here.
Yeah, a little bit too far beyond Louis' range once you start to get into the 40s. Kicked a 32-yard field goal earlier today.
And they throw it out here to the near side. They complete it.
Got it.
Going to be enough for a first down. That's Andrews. Marcus Andrews picks up an Indian first down.
Tell you, Andrews has had a nice game offensively for the Indians out of all the players out here tonight.
Yeah, he's one of the fastest kids on the team. Get him in the open field and let him get upfield and make some room. And you can see just gets enough for the first down and gets upfield and gets out of bounds with 52 seconds left. So nice play call by Dartmouth Indians there.
Very nice play call. Louis Freitas came in, kind of lined up near the line of scrimmage and threw a nice block on that as Morris overshoots his man, Jalen Adams. Second down, Indians.
Ball overthrown that time by quarterback Nico Morris, and it landed incomplete. So, as Jim said, stops the clock at 47 seconds. Well within field goal range now. Before it was kind of a borderline case. But again, the Indians don't want a field goal. They want a touchdown.
Morris. Ball fake.
Good to him.
Throws, corner, caught. Out of bounds.
He had Louis Freitas wide open, I think, early and underneath for could have been a walk-in touchdown. Had him wide open in the flat.
Donovan Burgo caught it, but
You watch right there, Louis Freitas had some running room if he could hit him.
Nope, he finally got it. He was out of bounds. That was like, 1 foot closer inbounds. That was a touchdown for the Indians. Instead, it brings up a 3rd down and 10.
3rd down and 10 now
However, by the Indians.
for Nico Morris. Indians have trouble scoring the entire season. Now they roll him right. Here comes the pursuit, and he throws it end zone. Caught.
Incomplete. They're going to say he stepped out of bounds.
They're going to say out of bounds. They don't see a signal. Now I do. It's no touchdown. Graham White saying I caught it.
4th down.
It's going to be tough to see. It's at the other end of the field.
I think this time they're going to have Louis Freitas come on to attempt the field goal.
Yeah, he's out.
Out of bounds.
That ball had to have been again a split second too late. Had he thrown that earlier, it's a touchdown.
Yeah, just a little hesitation. It's almost like he's not confident letting the ball go right away. And
29-yard attempt right now by Louis Freitas.
Freitas has it blocked, and look out! The Whalers are running down the sideline. And they're going to go in for a touchdown all the way. Valls takes it in.
Well, this is the worst thing that could have happened. You think you're going to get points, Andrew, and all of a sudden it goes the other way, not just for 3, but for 6. What a turn of events.
Yeah, it's almost like the outside guy didn't try to, they teach you to try to bounce him a little bit off target. He just had a dead aim right at Freitas. I mean, you got to be able to chip him a little bit with the help of inside, and it didn't look like Jalen Adams had enough time or space to get a chip off the end and get him off the line. So tough break for the Indians right before the half.
And that's like a 10-yard swing. Instead of 3 for you, it's 7 for them. A 10-point swing for New Bedford.
And that point after touchdown is good. Not often do you see a scoop and score from 81 yards out, and we just saw it.
Maybe we could get one more look at that, because Louis Freitas all set to kick from the near hash mark, and the pursuit came in, and the block was made, and all of a sudden, back the other way went Jazed Valls for the touchdown.
You'll be able to see on the replay, Jalen Adams is on the end, on the other end. It comes from the other side, but the guy on the outside is supposed to be able to cover 2 guys, kind of chip him and hit him out. And the other replay, the other angle we could see before, Jalen didn't get a chance to get off that end. That guy just had a straight wheel line right out Freitas. So
that's an 81-yard return by Valls, and he was the man who did the block as well. So what a great play that is for New Bedford, and they have an 11-point lead against the Indians. Get another look from another angle momentarily. Could be the play of the game at the end. We'll have to see, because, again, that's really a 10-point swing.
The Indians walked off the field so dejected, like, you got to be kidding me. There's Gremlick. He'll try to answer. Gremlick's across midfield with only 13 seconds to go.
Here's the replay on the kick. See number 3, he's supposed to be able to chip that guy, number 4, and didn't do that. Didn't try to get him off the line, give him a straight shot right at Louis Freitas, which leads to the block. You got to try to get him off his line to get a little bit more time, and that's something they got to work on. It's the second time this year they've had a field goal blocked. So just a missed block, missed play, which cost them 7 points.
So here's Morris. He's only got 13 ticks on the stadium clock, and now Andrews has it. Andrews got the 40 and going to be slammed out of bounds there, right alongside the Indian bench. Brunchill made the tackle. 6 seconds to go now for the Indians. They trail by a score of 14-3.
I think that was unfortunate, too, about the Indians not coming up with 3 points there, is that, you know, they methodically came down the field, engineering a pretty long drive from their own 42-yard line. They ran for some first downs. They passed for some first downs. They converted on a 3rd down. Just coming down the field. It took so much work to get all the way down there to set up that kick, and then all of a sudden the whole thing was gone just like that.
Killed the clock beautifully.
Started with 5 minutes left, worked the clock right down, everything perfect except for the end.
There's Andrews, and half is going to end, and he's going to be run across the boundary. Pushed across there by the touchdown maker Valls. And the first half has come to an end with the visiting New Bedford High School Whalers on top by a score of 14-3. We have a special halftime show. The award-winning Dartmouth High School band not here. They are
Attention, ladies and
competing
gentlemen.
this.
Female bathroom.
They are at a show, as those guys talked to me from the truck. So we're going to show you a past winning performance, I'm told. So you folks along the YouTube Live network and Dartmouth Community TV, sit back, go make some popcorn. What do you think, Paul? Make a little popcorn?
Good. No butter. I used to take a lot of butter, but I dial that back, you know, being a little older gentleman now, you know, I'm trying to...
Why, what does popcorn make you do as you get older? What?
Well,
Is that the seed?
if you have
Kernels? What is it?
If you have a lot of butter, it's bad for you.
Oh, a lot of butter. Oh,
So, dial back the butter. You don't pour all kind of salt on there and everything.
of course you do.
Oh, of course you do.
All right, we're being told to pipe down, so enjoy the halftime show.
My name's Ian Flint. I am the Director of Music here at Dartmouth Public Schools. I also serve as the Marching Band Director for the Dartmouth High School Marching Band. The theme to this year's show is a show entitled Forgotten. It's actually a Western show, which is unique for us. The idea of doing a Western show was something that we saw a lot in the 1980s and 1990s in marching band, and we're kind of bringing that back this year, so we're really excited about that. The inspiration of this year's show comes from discussions actually from the indoor percussion season. This was a show that had been presented that might have been a possibility for an indoor show, and we really liked it, and we thought it would work really well for our marching band too. In the opening of our show, we see all of our travelers and they're kind of grasping for hope, and that's the idea at the beginning. So you'll see the performers kind of reaching out, and there's a bunch of little individual things that are occurring throughout the field. It starts out with like a kind of a Western, spaghetti Western guitar sound, and we get this little introduction that kind of builds up to this chaotic moment at the beginning of the show. And really what this opening of the show is about travelers that are just in desperation. Second part of the show, we kind of go into the idea of like just kind of we're exploring this town and we see a Western village and kind of all the elements you would hear in like a classic Western show. So really think about kind of movie themes and any kind of thing you would think about with just kind of that classic Western idea. And we kind of explore the town, we see different areas. Each little section of the group is featured in the second part of the show. In the third section of the show, our travelers are weary and they don't have any resources, anything like that, and they come across a well that you'll see as a big prop on the field, and the performers start to pull individual pieces of fabric out that represent our water, and the idea behind the ballad is just about their discovery of this water, and it makes it a viable place that they can live. In the fourth section of the show, our travelers realize that they have water and they have all the resources they need to live in this town. So through that, it's kind of a celebratory idea of a Western. Our music is a little bit different this year. We do explore a lot of different ideas of Western music, and actually that closer is actually inspired by kind of Mexican Southwest music. We actually have a design team that puts this together, and we're unique here at Dartmouth because a lot of our designers are actually in-house. They're actually our teachers here at Dartmouth, and that is what makes us really unique. We bring a unique voice to the marching band community, and they are the people that work in our school district. So our design team's kind of led by Mr. Ungst, and he's our percussion director. Kind of oversees all the musical coordination of the show, along with Brandon Carita, who designs our percussion music for the front ensemble, and he's been working here for about 10 years now. We have a couple people that come to us from outside the district. So Mr. Addison Caterli, who's a teacher over New Bedford Public Schools, he runs our color guard program and helps design all of those aspects of the show. And then Mr. Michael Rayner, who is a band director over in New Bedford Public Schools, he does all of the staging and coordination of the show when you see all the movement around the field.
Now entering the field for your enjoyment and entertainment this evening is our one competing band in Division 5. It's your hosts from Dartmouth, Massachusetts. Please welcome the Dartmouth High School Marching Band. The director of music is Mr. Ian Flint. The band directors are Mr. Ian Flint and Mr. Thomas Unks. The color guard designer is Addison Caterli, Anthony Cabral, and Heather Graham. The color guard staff is Addison Caterli, Sam Hussey, Marla Cohen, Courtney Felix, Chloe Barton, Tracy Higgins, Courtney Felix, and Courtney Parkinson. The percussion staff is Tom Unks, Brandon Cartier, David Mills, and Dan Monty. The wind instructors are Mike Rayner, John Souza, Tyler Kingsland, and Brandon Chan. The drill design is Mike Rayner. The drill technician is Jocelyn Jerome. Show design is Ian Flint, Tom Unks, Mike Rayner, Addison Caterli, and Brandon Cartier. Music arrangers are Jay Bocook, Mike Kelch, and Jeff Chambers. The drum majors are Lauren Sullivan, Erin Thatcher, and Delaney Gove. Their show for the 22-23 season and for your enjoyment this evening is entitled Forgotten. Drum majors, is the band ready? Dartmouth High School Marching Band, you may take the field in Nesba performance. Good luck. Ladies and gentlemen, the Dartmouth High School Marching Band. The last few airgrams for Dartmouth.
Welcome back to the stadium, everybody. Score at the half is New Bedford High School 14, Dartmouth High School 3. A pretty even game until the final minute and a half when all heck broke loose here at the stadium.
Yeah, that's right. The Indians got the ball with about 5 minutes to go in the half, and they were marching down the field, hoping to either come within one with a field goal or get a touchdown. It turns out that they got down very deep in enemy territory, all set up to kick a field goal that would have made it 7-6. The score was 7-3 at the time. But then when Louis Freitas lined up to try to kick that field goal, which was well within his range, pretty short, around the corner came Josette Valls, blocked it, scooped it, and ran approximately 80 yards for a touchdown, which you don't see every day. Really a 10-point swing in the opposite direction, because instead of it being 7-6, it is now 14-3 in favor of New Bedford. Clearly the biggest play of the half.
And when you struggle like Dartmouth High does on offense all season long, Paul, those kids after that 81-yard scoop and score, they had looked like they had lost their best friend. They were just walking off the field like, what just happened? It's almost like they kind of know, like, we don't score a lot of points, and now we had a 7-6 game in our heads, and now it's 14-3.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, you look at earlier in the game, you know, he had that interception by Fenno early in the game. In midfield, he had a 35-yard returner, so got it down to the New Bedford 15. And they weren't able to get into the end zone then. Threw an incomplete pass. They ended up having to settle for a Louis Freitas field goal. So, you know, a couple of times it was so close to the end zone, and neither time could they get 6.
Yeah, it's been a frustrating season, I think, for everybody involved. The Dartmouth offense and trying to get in the end zone and making mistakes. They're a young team. Everybody knew that going into this season. But, you know, when you get so close like that, you got to make sure you get points. And especially with a team like New Bedford, their backs against the wall. They haven't won a game. Now they have all the confidence. Now they have, you know, they're coming out bouncing around. They're ready to go. You don't want to give a team like that a front-running, you know, mentality of, you know, now we got you. So big drive here to start the second half, and New Bedford comes out and scores. The Indians could be in big trouble.
New Bedford starts with the ball, and then on top of that, you know, Dartmouth is now forced to execute a come-from-behind victory with an offense that's been struggling.
Yeah, and I mean, I can think of one explosive play Dartmouth had all year. It was the first game against Sting where Abreu had like a 92-yard run. Besides that, Dartmouth hasn't had a lot of explosive plays all year. They're always going down the field slowly, and they need something big to happen to break out for them.
Well, Freitas starts the second half. And Nunes has it. He starts right down the middle, and he's got running room up across the 20 and out to the 25-yard line. Jason Martin making a stop on the special team. So the second half underway here from the stadium. Whalers will have it 1st and 10 on top on the scoreboard by a score of 14-3.
Did have a couple of interceptions in that first half. We talked about the Fenno interception. There was also an interception by Bechtel for New Bedford.
Harris is going to get it out here quickly. He's got a man. He completes it. And that's into the arms of Desmond Brushbill. And he picks up a solid gain of 7. Abreu there for the Indians in the secondary. Good pickup on first down to start the Whaler drive, Paul.
Yeah, the Indians, you know, they've been playing better offensively as the season has gone along. You take a look at the loss to Brockton last week, 35-21, much closer game than a lot of people thought. The week before, Bridgewater Raynham, another loss, but 2 weeks in a row putting points up in the 20s, which they hadn't done earlier in the season. So their offense is playing with more and more confidence.
And here's the quarterback, Harris. He's looking for that first down marker, and I think The official on the far side gives him the extra yard. First down, Whalers. Chase Lackey made the tackle for Dartmouth, but not before the nifty quarterback of the Whalers talking to his head coach, Marky DeBrito. Andrew, you're a good friend of Coach DeBrito. He's had a rough time of it over in New Bedford, but people don't understand the school system. There's a lot going on in that high school.
Yeah, I could probably spend the rest of the game telling you about all the issues he's got to deal with on a day-to-day basis. But you know, it's he's always an upbeat guy. Every time you talk to him, he's always got a positive thing and a positive message. So he's got a good group of guys coaching with him. So it's the best thing for the kids.
He's always been about the kids. Gain of 4.
Quite a player in his own right. I can remember calling the Bedford games back in the 90s, and he was quite a wide receiver, great speed. And he would just take off on that fly pattern, and I can remember making some great catches down the sideline for what was a wide-open New Bedford team. Back then, you didn't see a lot of that. You see more of it now. New Bedford was a team that would put the ball up, and they used Mark DeBrito with that wide receiver position.
He's coaching with Rudy Boger. I think Rudy might have been his quarterback.
And then had a stellar career up at Bentley, if I recall.
Yeah.
Here's the quarterback. He's going to keep it off the option and gets up to about the 45-yard line. Gain of 2 on the play. Jason Martin there for the Indians.
Certainly too early to be running out the clock or anything like that, but if you're on New Bedford, you got the ball, you keep moving the chains, you keep it on the ground. The Indians on a high-powered offense. You have that 11-point lead. You're certainly content with that.
Yeah, I think New Bedford, too, has had some turnovers and mistakes throughout the last couple of seasons, so keeping the ball on the ground here, getting them positive yards is a major help to their offense as well.
Harris looking at 3rd and 4. Going to throw it near side. He's got a man open. It's caught. He's going to have enough for the first down. And the reception was Rigo. Colin Rigo picks up the first.
A nice play design by the Whalers, getting the linebacker Adams out in space. And he's probably not used to that all that much out in the flat. So nice, get a ball in the hands of a fast, speedy guy, get the first down. And nothing funny, nothing crazy, just get the first down and keep moving.
And a nice short pass, which is really a high percentage pass rather than some of the longer passes downfield.
Yeah, they're doing a good job of getting these guys in space, and it's positive yardage instead of trying to run on this Dartmouth defensive front. So it's good play calling, smart play calling.
Got to venture to say, I know it's the third quarter. This is almost like a must keep them off the board drive right here for Dartmouth.
Nunes inside the 45, banging his way down to the 40, still churning out yardage, and the Indians' Jason Martin was on there for about a 5-yard ride ball.
Yeah, you mentioned, Jim, that at the end of that half, after that scoop and score, you could see the deflation on the Indian side. Well, conversely, looks like the Indians, or rather the Whalers, got a spark out of it. You can see that little extra pep that they've come out with here in the second half, because they weren't running the ball as effectively in the first half as they are now after what happened there.
2nd and short here for the Whalers.
Somebody flinched, 79 or 58 flinch, one of the two.
That'll march the ball back 5 yards. Coach DeBrito wants to know what the call. He knows what the call is, but obviously is not in agreement with it.
One of the two guards flinched. Yep,
Oh.
right there, 79. Yep. See that leg flinch, huh?
Wow, it was
Eagle
very
eyes.
minimal, but
Eagle eyes tonight.
yeah.
There's Nunes plowing his way for a few more. Tackled by 3. Carrero, Martin there for the Indians. 3rd down and 5 now. Under 7.5 to go here in the 3rd.
The penalty could be really big for this Dartmouth defense right there, because that extra 5 yards, the difference between getting that first down, not getting the first down, as we said, really need to keep the Whalers off the board right here to have a chance to come back because it is a 2-score game, as you can see.
Yeah, and New Bedford went for it, and the ball was around this spot early in the first half, so I'm assuming if they close, they're going to go for it again. So 2-down territory probably for the Whalers.
Yeah.
Harris looks one way, throws the other, completes it. Run skills got it down there at the 39-yard line, and that's going to be very close to the first down. And they're going to give it to him.
Well, as Andrew pointed out, they would have gone for it anyway in fourth, but getting the first down is big for New Bedford. They hang on to the ball. 6:46 and counting as the third quarter continues to evaporate.
Not only that, it's going by fast. Dear goodness gracious. First and 10. With Noons, just tough inside runner is Noons. Chase Lackey making the stop.
Yeah,
Noons wears you out, Andrew.
He's a tiny guy, but he's, the legs keep moving, and every time that he gets the ball, there's a couple of times with Indians on the ground around his feet. It's not like he's getting hit and, dropped right away. He's plowing through there and 4 or 5 yards of whack. So this couldn't be a better start to the second half for the Whalers.
Yeah, Noon's listed at 5'6", 173.
This is Noons over the right side. The Indians corral him, perhaps a yard. Even though there's a big pile, he's still a yard ahead of all the Indian defenders, Paul.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's showing, what he brings to the table here in the second half. Right now, third down and a couple, but, if you're Dartmouth, you got to stop him twice because they're deeper and deeper into territory. Clearly 4-down territory. Clock continues to run, and things are going well for the Whalers at this point in the game. Need a turnover and a stop.
Third and a couple. He ball fakes to Noons, and he's got the first down. No whistle yet, and he doesn't have the football, that's for sure. But the referee says that he was down. But I was wondering, Andrew, when were they going to blow the whistle for forward progress? That's how kids get hurt. If you look on, referees didn't blow the whistle.
Yeah, looks like blow it there. There's no need for this, and somebody's going to get hurt, someone's going to get hit. Then you get a rip ball, and I get it, you play to the whistle, but, if they're worried about injuries and whatnot, they got to have a quicker whistle on a play like that.
And it should be Dartmouth football. The ball was ripped out of his hand. There was no whistle.
No, that's the other problem is.
Yeah, we can look back at that after this play, perhaps. First and 10 Whalers. They have the lead at 14-3. There's the quarterback, Harris, and Harris gets down to about the 26-yard line where he's wrapped up there. Jason Martin. If we can get back to that previous play, fellas, that'd be great. I was asking them to do the impossible, Paul. They sit in the truck, and I'm sure their language is never good. The adjectives are probably not, Did you hear that?
He wanted the play before the last play, wasn't it? It's one thing to ask for the last play, but now you're asking for the play before the last play?
Can you go back to the opening kickoff? Well, we're going to have a timeout. We have a timeout. So maybe we can go back to 2 plays before this. Look at the Indian sideline. Nice and slow, fellas. Let's watch this. Now, there's no whistle. Really, there's no whistle at this point. Now watch the ball get ripped out of his hand. The players are still playing. They're trying to tackle him. And watch, the Indians steal the ball. And the referees had, I swear to you, none of them have an idea. From up here, there was no whistle. And you look at the head official, goes, okay. I don't think he knew Dartmouth had the ball. And right away, he points to New Bedford. Am I right on that, Paul, do you think?
You are right on that eagle eye. Jalen Adams was holding the ball and handed it to the official like, look, I've got the ball right here. Wearing green. I've got the ball right here. But it's Whaler ball, and as Ricky White comes back to the sideline, it's really now Nunes and Harris, Harris and Nunes.
Yeah, just getting kind of handed to you right now if you're the Dartmouth defense. There's nothing, you haven't done anything to show you can stop what they're doing, so they're not going to stop doing it.
Using that size of their front seven, then now they're going to put in the ball of their athletic quarterback, Harris, and Harris rumbles for a first down. I would like to see, Paul, them use Harris more on the running plays.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think they forced the pass a little bit too much in the first half. Now look at this, kind of faking the pass, but I don't know why anybody would think that he might do it there. But hey, it freed the area in the middle. Linebackers kind of dropped back a little bit, and all of a sudden he took off right up the middle. Absolutely. His athleticism, his speed, he has everything you need to have a successful running quarterback.
1st and 10 from the Indian 19. High snap. Nunes, he just keeps plowing for 2, 3, 4 yards every time they tuck it in his belly.
Harrison Nunes.
Yeah. I mean, you're worried about the Dartmouth defense getting worn down. Nunes and Harris. More so Nunes, but I mean, he might be exhausted by the end of this drive, never mind the rest of the half. I mean, he's becoming a workhorse out there, and it's nothing Dartmouth can do right now. It's just, if you're the defensive coordinators, you got to be ripping your hair out. What do we do?
Well, coming into the season, they were concerned about their size and strength. And against these Division I teams, it's shown through that they're just not physical enough to play these teams. And mind you, New Bedford hasn't won but one game in 2 years. And here's Harris looking for room on the inside. Jason Martin, one of the guys to get him to the ground. Although, as Paul alluded to earlier, they gave Brockton a pretty good tussle last week up in Brockton.
Yeah, 35-21, and it was a very interesting game. You know, I was talking to Mark DeBritti, who see him there, talking to his quarterback, and he talked about how, you know, Brockton was kind of surprised. Maybe they overlooked New Bedford a little bit. That can happen too, but New Bedford came to play and gave him a good game and gave him quite a scare. And perhaps New Bedford's thought was, gee, if we can go up to Brockton and almost beat them, why can't we go down here and beat Dartmouth, our neighbors?
And Harris going to keep it, looking for room on the outside, didn't get it. And Eli Johnson jumped on his back to prevent any more yardage as we look on.
Nice play by Eli Johnson.
Well, Silva has kicked extra points successfully during the course of today's game, twice so far. And so you would think if they could come here and get points and make it even harder for the Indians to come back, that would be a consideration.
Well, it's 4th and 1.
If they go for it and don't get it, I mean, the chances are they would get it because they've been moving the ball pretty successfully on the ground. But if they go for it, the Indians can really keep themselves in the game with a stop.
Yeah, it looked like Harris was shaken up on that a little bit, and I think Coach DeBrito said, why don't we just run the clock down? We have plenty of timeouts. 53 seconds to go in the quarter, which they've controlled. The Indians had the ball once in this quarter, and New Bedford has just run it down their throats ever since the Indians punted the football to them. And now the Indians in real trouble. 4th and 1. If they can hold, the momentum will change. If they can't, could be a long rest of the game.
I tell you, I think I would go for the field goal only because it looks like it's so close that Silva should be able to make it, and then you'd have a 14-point lead. On the other hand, 4th and 1, you should be able to get the 4th and 1 too. If you get the 4th and 1, it's almost like game over.
Yeah, I mean, you should have confidence in the play call to get a 4th and 1 after watching this drive almost the whole third quarter.
Right, they haven't been able to stop him at all, and 1 yard is almost nothing.
And Dartmouth hasn't shown they can go down the field and score quickly either. So, I mean, if you don't get
either way, yeah. They're going for it. Only need 1 yard.
Harris looks over, 4th and 1. Takes one step drop, now he's gonna run with it, makes a cut, still on his feet. And he is down, and he is in for a touchdown. The ball came loose, but I believe Harris was across the goal line.
JT Chowery looked like had a chance. Just the athletic move by Harris to get around him. Yep. Yeah, he was over before the ball came out.
Yeah, he was in, ball came out after he was down. And what a long drive by the Whalers, ending in a touchdown.
Well, definitely the right call to go for it on 4th and 1, clearly. But, you know, as the extra point gets kicked wide right.
They blow the whistle early?
I think I heard whistles before that, Paul.
But, you know, on that touchdown, right, you know, the quarterback was running with the ball, and it looked like one of the Indians looked like he was going to tackle him right at the 4th down marker, and it was just one of those over-pursue situations. Yeah. And, boy, if they could have made that tackle right there, I'm thinking, oh, that one was going to get him. That one's going to get him. Oh, he got away, touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, it's been, unfortunately, an issue this whole game on both touchdowns. I mean, that touchdown run there, missed tackle, and early on the long pass reception, Dartmouth missed about 4 tackles on that run, too, and allowed him to get in the end zone. So, you know, you look back at this film, you're going to see a lot of missed tackles and which led to points, unfortunately.
Isaiah Silver in for the point after touchdown. Operation looks good, floats it up. All right, the fella's in the truck. We're going to go to the NFL headquarters. Was his knee down?
He did slow up right before the goal line. Ooh. Yeah, it's close.
Great camera work by the crew.
Nice look right there along the goal line. And, you know, the thing is, though, even if they had tackled them there, it would have been 4th and goal at the 1. How are you going to stop them then?
Right, I mean, yeah.
I mean, it would be first and goal at the 1,
yeah,
excuse me. First and goal at the 1. How are you going to stop them?
Right.
But, you know, hey, you never know. If they have a fumble at the snap or, you know, some weird turnover or something, you never know.
I think if you coach DeBrito, your team has struggled for wins. You got to, like, say, look, fellas, what's the worst that can happen? They can't score.
Yeah, right.
They haven't scored all year. What makes you think they're going to go 85 yards and score on us? So if we don't get it, we're in good shape. But I think you have to give your team some confidence. Like, hey, last week you played a good game. Darn it, we're going 4th and 1. I have faith in you guys. And faith he did. Ended up at a touch. And the Indians on the return. They get it up across the 25 to the 29-yard line is Fenno. So the Indians now trail by a large margin with 40 seconds to go. 21-3 deficit.
Uphill climb, to say the least.
And we have a new quarterback in for the Indians.
Oh, good.
Jackson Hart will get an opportunity again. Threw an interception in the first half and was replaced by the normal starter, Nico Morris. Hart's out there across the 25, and a flag comes in. And a little taunting there by Devin Vieira. The flag flew well before that. Was they wrong that there was a flag?
I don't know. I don't see anything. No flag.
Well, I guess there was no flag, but I do know the third quarter is over, Paul.
Very good.
Pretty good.
Very exciting.
I'm very exciting. It's quite such an exciting game. And I have a little bronchitis going. Of course, all you folks out there, I know you're all COVID this and COVID that. And That's
You have
wonderful.
bronchitis?
I do have bronchitis, but I did do a COVID check, and it came back I was pregnant.
Well, I'm glad to see that you don't have COVID and you do have some bronchitis. So are you taking anything for that?
I am. You don't. You do
Medication?
Yeah,
Legal medication?
I'm taking legal medication. If you look on at the happy fans across the way, you take a little prednisone and try to stop you from coughing. And
You're on prednisone?
I am.
Oh, that stuff is nasty.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good, but when I saw you tonight, I got ill right away.
I think it makes you a little puffy, doesn't it?
Well,
Puffy on the cheeks and stuff like that.
yeah. Of course, then my daughter-in-law comes over today, and you know how these young people are. Don't get near the baby. Don't get near the baby. Then I find out that there's this terrible thing going around with youngsters with respiratory things, and I felt like a terrible old rotten grandfather until I found out that there's an upper respiratory disease going around in babies.
Oh.
So
You had to keep your distance.
I had to wear a mask.
The distance, we're going to work on that for the rest of our life.
Yeah.
Long distance.
Yeah. The kids, they're moving into the house. We built an addition, so it's all nice.
That's very nice.
And it's all going to work out, but I already see it. I'm going to have to wear a mask. I'm going to have to wear this and that. I see it coming.
Definitely make sure you wash your hands.
Is there a connecting door, or do we have like a barricade?
No, we would like a barricade, but under Town of Dartmouth rules, you have to have an opening to each side so we all use the same house.
I see.
So that's the way architecturally it is, and that's how it was finished. As Dartmouth Ray Gremlick carries. He gets it out to the 28-yard line or so. Gremlick's been quiet tonight, Andrew.
Yeah, New Bedford's done a really nice job up front. They've controlled both the offensive and defensive front, and it's really put a damper on this read option. They've done a really good job staying home. So this Dartmouth offense is just struggling tonight. There's not much they can do. They got good athletes on the outside to cover the wide receivers, and defensive front has been a problem.
Here's Hart off the ball fake. Hart's got running room. Hart's across the 40 and out to about the 44-yard line. Solid run of 14 and a first down for the young quarterback.
Yeah, you asked me earlier in the game what's the difference between the two, and you can kind of see once Jackson Hart gets in the open field, he's got a lot of speed. He's, a long strider. Kind of reminds you of quarterback they had in the past. Can't think of his name right now, but he was a lacrosse player.
That gives Paul and I. Give us 3 more guesses. First and 10 Indians. Andrews looking for room, and he's not going to get any. Brunskill was there. Yes, it was Nate Ellis, I believe, Andrews referring to.
Jacobson?
Could have been Cole Jacobson.
Just throwing the name up there.
Yeah, I believe it was Cole Jacobson. That's what I was thinking of, yeah.
Yeah, Cole Jacobson.
Yep.
I was thinking Mark Devitt from the 1963 team. 2nd down and 8. Hart, right up the middle goes Gremlick, and he's going to be about a yard short. Solid run of 7.
This is a nice little drive they got going on, but if they're going to try to get back into this game, you got to get more than 3 or 4 yards a play and killing clock. It's by the time they score, it'll be under 9 minutes left to go in the game.
But you just look, you folks at home, the New Bedford front. They're so much bigger than Dartmouth. Just take a look at them. They're just much more physical. It's bigger people. Gremlick inches his way out. He's going to be close, but the guy on the far side has him short by about a half a yard. Ornato on the stop, bring up 4th down and less than a yard.
That field goal blocked by Valls, and the 80-yard return, the scoop and score. That's really the biggest play of the game by far, because right now this could easily be a 1-possession game right now. That added double layers to New Bedford's lead, and that's a situation that the Indians face. Got to go for it.
This is Grimlick. He's got the first down, bulldozing his way down to the 25-yard line, and Indian first down. 8:46 to go in the ball game.
It's the first offensive play of the game, really. Dartmouth's got anything really going on the ground. Grimlick just running hard, barreling over the defenders. Nice play, good first down. And
Nice defense by Guzman in the secondary to make a stop. Otherwise, Grimlick was heading for pay dirt.
It was about a 25-yard gain that time by Gramble. We haven't seen that much tonight.
There's Andrews.
ooh,
Tries to square his shoulders, and boy, oh boy, hello there. Diakite, I believe it was.
yeah, Anthony Diakite.
Welcome to the ball game. Oh my goodness gracious! Lyles just came in and he just loaded. My oh my!
It's the old saying, keep your head in the swivel.
Yeah, yeah, you know.
You know,
And when you're laying there, you're saying, Coach, don't call that one again. Picked up 4 on the play, second down and 6. And New Bedford is ready for that. Maldonado's had a big game, yet another tackle for him.
Maldonado, he's just getting off the ball quick. I mean, there's nothing to that play. I mean, just watching the ball beating the offensive lineman to the backfield. There's nothing that you can do on that. I mean,
If you're coaching a film, you go, 51's not even involved in this play. We're running away from him. No one blocks him. He's in there saying to himself, I'm going to make a play. No one even blocked me.
yeah, I mean, he's just going for the ball. I mean, he's just watching the quarterback and going after him. I mean, it's easy for him to make that back play on the read option.
Third
Again,
and
here we go.
long, Hart. And Hart's got himself a first down, and Hart spins down to the 5-yard line. Jackson Hart showing some athleticism here late in this ball game.
Yeah, it's roughly a 15-yard gain, and we were talking about his speed, and that was a good play fake too, because I was kind of looking up the middle. I didn't even see him jolt out to the side, and where was this earlier in the game? The Indians are moving the ball nicely right now.
I thought Maldonado was going to make another play, came flying off the end, and that's part of this offense. You got to read that in. If he's crashing hard every time, take it right at him. That's the best way to defend that.
I was just going to say, Coach Rossi, up there in the booth, you see the guy crashing down like that, they come right back on the next play and say, okay, we'll run the option, and you tackle 21, and 12 will run it for us. And that's exactly what happened. Good call by the Dartmouth coaching staff.
Yeah,
As
you can.
hard as it is for me to give Coach Rossi a compliment, I will.
Oh, I mean, it's just one of those things. In order to make him stop doing that, you got to make him think a little hesitation, and that's what that read option is geared to do. But looks like Maldonado's been just reading the back the entire game, and he got squared a few times, and that time they outsmarted him.
Now, Paul, I go back with Coach Rossi like 100 years. So nowadays I can't make that joke. Like I was making fun of him. But he'll watch the thing and he'll laugh. But there'll be somebody out there. Someone will say, you hurt Coach Rossi's feelings. He's the principal of the high school.
Yeah.
Help me out, will you, Paul?
Is that right?
Yes.
Well, fun fact, he came up to me tonight and told me that my daughter and him share the same birthday. So
Yes.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
Coach Rossi and I coached together under Coach Bill Kavanaugh. And we'll find a better person on the planet. Coach Sexter up there as well. In fact, the entire Indian staff. All good people, other than being good coaches. And here's Gremlick. And he's wrapped up Maldonado once again, 51.
A couple of different whalers in there. Maldonado got him up top, and that was about all.
And the great thing about high school sports,
Bring up a second down and goal.
Paul, is like sometimes they give you a roster and you look for a number and it's not there. You ever notice that?
That does happen on occasion.
It
yeah.
does.
Did that happen to you just now?
It did.
And what can you do about it? Nothing.
I blamed it on you. I'm still worried I'm going to get a call from Peter Chase that I made fun of somebody. Here's a quarterback throwing, corner route, incomplete. Jackson Hart looking for Graham White. Good look at the Indian wideout. Defensive secondary player as well.
Kind of an aggressive call there, looking for White in the back of the end zone. A lot of traffic down there, well covered. Really didn't seem like a high percentage play.
And I don't think one of those guys ran the right pattern. You should never have two guys in the same area like that. This is Hart off the ball fake, keeping it, spun down right around the 1 yard line. Where it's going to bring up 4th down and goal.
Yep. Good play call to keep that, because you can see Maldonado again just keying on the running back. He's just taking the running back every play, so keep going. I would have run that same play again, because Maldonado's crashing every single play, just down, down, down.
It was a nice play by Brenshell, keeping Hart out of the end zone.
I'd like to see Hart hold on to it, do something, maybe along the near side here where there's more real estate.
4th down here for the Indians. Holds, runs, and a great open field tackle to prevent a touchdown. Brunskill does it again. Last 2 plays. And Hart's like saying, you're kidding me, I had 6 on my mind.
Wow, that's a heck of a play.
Yeah, I thought for sure Hart was going to be able to come around the near side. Ball was on the far hash marks. Once he made that fake, it looked like he was going to be able to pick up that speed, use that real estate. Perhaps he could have stayed on the outside longer, but he saw that space and thought he could cut in. Credit the New Bedford Whaler defense on that one.
Yeah, that kid made a great play. Just, that quick burst got there real fast, and I don't think Hart thought he was going to get there that fast, it looked like.
Got to tell you, though, I saw a lot of positive things out of Jackson Hart. I mean, he's only a sophomore, so he's getting some good experience. And, I'd like to see him next year and the year after as he continues to improve, and he's only going to get bigger, stronger, and faster.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in a way, if you're Dartmouth, you look at it, you have Nico Morris for another year, and you got this kid for another 2.
Right.
I mean, it's not a bad problem to have both guys getting experience. It's going to be, at the end of the year, who works harder and who wants to play more next year. And for the coaching staff, it's not a bad problem to have.
2nd down here for the Whalers, and Noon just plowing his way the whole game, 2, 3, 4 yards, just tiring out this Indian defense. And Andrew, I would say that final drive of the Indians was a microcosm of the entire season.
Yeah, I mean, you get down there, you work hard all the way down to get to the inside the red zone, inside the 10, and not get it in. It's it's great while it's going, but it's very demoralizing at the end of the day. It's been the whole season almost, and we talked about it earlier. There's been no explosive plays. They don't have that back this year like they had before. Will Kelly and Ethan Marks that can get you that tough 2 or 3 yards, and that's just what they're missing. And hopefully, with these younger kids getting playing time now, next year they can make those plays and know what they got to do to get there.
Well, I think Coach White and his staff knew that this was a very young team. A lot of good athletes, good team, overall team speed, but I think Paul has been around a little longer than you, Andrew. And I just think, Paul, Dartmouth is, they had the Lynches and the Todman and the Sylvias and the Mellows, and that was great playing Division I schools. But when you're down for a year, 2, 3, and you're playing Division I schools, Bridgewater, Raynham, Brockton, New Bedford, it's hard to beat these schools. You're not playing, this year they lost us, I think, a Ponequid. So that, in my mind, that's where they've always should have been, in that kind of a league. But for some reason, they throw them in this league, and you really got to have great athletes. So it was great when they were going to the Super Bowl, but they're not going to have 4 guys who played Division I college football either.
No, that was a very, very unusual cluster of tremendous talent during the years that you're talking about. You're talking about, like Lynch and Sylvia and Todman, all that around the same
Mello
time.
and Cruz.
Mello, all around the same couple of years. I mean, that was a fluke for any town the size of Dartmouth, no question about it.
And I think the other troublesome thing is the way the playoff system is designed with the point systems. You get points or playing in New Bedford if you win. So, I mean, you can be in these. I guess the argument to that is, oh, you can play New Bedford. If you beat New Bedford, you get more points for the playoffs, which is fine. But if you're Dartmouth, you're playing some of these bigger teams, Brockton, New Bedford, Bridgewater, Raynham, that you're not going to play in the playoffs. So, I mean, it's tough for them to get wins and enough points to actually qualify. So, there's a positive and negative to both of that, in my opinion. It's not really fair to the kids who are playing their rear ends off, getting beat up by Brockton, New Bedfords, and then go play a team like Sharon or somewhere we saw in the past that isn't as big, you know, because they're playing down in a conference.
So Val's will punt it away. His heel's on the end line of his own end zone. Good snap, and he rides it out. And it's a short kick, and the Indians is going to let it roll. It's going to be down there at the 36-yard line, where the Indians will have yet another possession, try to get into that end zone, which Paul will elaborated all season long. It's just elusive to this offensive unit.
Yeah, it's really been tough, especially the last few weeks. I mean, we talked about at the outset of the game, only averaging 8 points a game over the last 4 weeks. So you knew that.
And that's about it on the season.
Yeah, and that averages out pretty much around there for the season too, correct? So now you're playing against this New Bedford team that's been putting up in excess of 20 points in the last few games, and not just against anybody, against Brockton and Bridgewater Raynham. So their mindset was, well, if we can put that kind of points up against those two Division I teams, we should be able to go into Dartmouth and at least do that at the minimum. And they have. They scored 21 points tonight. They scored 21 against Bridgewater Raynham, and I believe somewhere in the 20s against Brockton. So they have improved offensively, according to the coach, Brito.
Here's Hart throwing long and deep, and he throws it to the wrong team. Brunskill's had a whale of a game. Excuse the pun.
Flag at the quarterback.
Yeah, there's a flag down there at the 44-yard line.
Is it roughing the passer?
Yep. Personal foul against New Bedford. The referee's going to pick up the penalty flag, and the Indians will retain possession of the football.
I didn't see the play. I mean, I watched the ball in the air. I didn't see if there were, what happened at the end of that play.
Now, mentioning that New Bedford scored 21 points tonight, but let's not forget that the biggest 7 came from defense. See if we can check the roughing the passer.
Oh, yeah, a little late.
Way to the right of the screen, you could see that hit. Fresh set of downs for Dartmouth.
Here's Andrews on the jet sweep, and that play has not worked all night long. Calvin Cruz welcoming him here on senior night, and not a very happy senior night, Paul Santos, for the Dartmouth High School squad.
Now, you kind of look forward to senior night, right? You come out here with family, friends, and so forth, and you think, all right, New Bedford's coming in. They've struggled on the season. Maybe we could have a nice evening here with family and everything else and beat the crosstown rivals, but wasn't the beat tonight. And again, that big play by Val's on defense, we've mentioned, that was the play of the game that really finished off Dartmouth, even though it was a long time ago.
Here's Hart. Hart's got speed. He's down and in for a touchdown. Jackson Hart, 23 yards out.
And I think that's what they see in this kid, which they really like. And it's, I mean, maybe not throwing the ball that well, but I think he does a really good job at reading the ends, getting an open field. And once he gets in the open field, he can move. And it's a nice elusive run there to get downfield and finish the run. He finished, didn't lead up and let up and got in the end zone. So good for him, good for his first varsity touchdown, and something to build on going forward, even in the consolation games.
Freitas in there now, and he boots that to the left. No good. Clock stopped here with only 1:21 to go. Score, New Bedford High School 21, Dartmouth High School 9. That must make his dad happy, Paul.
Yeah, his dad, Andy Hart, WEEI. We listen to him all the time. He's also on television on the Channel 52.
Comcast, Boston.
Yeah, the Boston. Yeah, right. That's correct. And we get to see him out there with Tommy Curran, who's up there in the Lakeville area. And hey, there's a lot to talk about recently, that's for sure. So it's been enjoyable listening to all the opinions from Andy and the rest of the staff up there in that Boston station.
I wonder if he watches this during the week and says, "Oh no, we got to find somebody better than this. We got to find like Gary Tangway's doing nothing, right?"
Greg Dickerson.
Greg Dickerson. Oh, Greg Dickerson's always looking for a job.
Is there Smurlus around somewhere?
Yeah, Smurlus. Yeah, he can. You know, Andy's got connections. You're welcome, Andy. I'm telling you, it's big pay. I've been doing this for 25 years. The only reason I've been doing this is they can't find a replacement. The Indians set to kick it away, trailing 21-9. They onside kick it. The ball's loose.
Got it.
And the Indians are claiming they have it. And it looks like it's Marcus Andrews, and here comes a flag. And somebody may be hurt.
JT Charrier is down.
JT Charrier is down.
It's the worst part about an onside kick is people go 100 miles an hour.
Personal foul against the Whalers. All right,
that-
boys, check on what happened here.
I think they're calling it at the end of the play. Andrews has it. I think it's on number 9. Kind of comes in. The ball, they try to rip the ball out at the end. And the kid comes in and dives at his head. Right there. That's what I thought. That's where they threw the flag. I don't understand why. I can't see any contact, but.
Well, a little air still in the lungs. Still breathing are the Indians.
Marcus Andrews came up with that ball. That was really a great play by him.
So now Hart, with 1:17 to go, does he have the magic? This is what he's excelled on all night long, running on the edges. And this time they defend him well. Calvin Cruz was over there. Timeout called by Ricky White. Well, we have 1:04 to go in the ball game. Got to check out the Paul Santos Live. Next show is when and who's on it?
Well, we have a young girl, Aaliyah. She's going to be on the show singing. We definitely usually have a comedian, a comic that comes on as well. We have Chops Turner, our sidekick. We got Gary Langevin, who is our new band leader. And in about 2 weeks, we have the voice of Dartmouth High School football here, Mr. Jim Thompson, making his second appearance on the show. And he's like a recurring guest, kind of like Rodney Dangerfield or Don Rickles on the old Carson show. The same talented people keep coming back by popular demand. That's what we're going for, you know. I know that Andrew Thompson, standing to my left, was listening to the show, walking around Target the last time Jim was on, and had to turn the sound down out of embarrassment.
We'll say embarrassment.
The people on the next aisle wouldn't be going, what is he listening to?
Well, I don't know the censorship on that online show, so I was getting a little nervous that some things would come out.
Here's Hart, throws it right side. Does he complete it? He does. Caught there by Andrews, right down there at the 18-yard line. Stops the clock here at the stadium.
Nice catch. Way to keep your foot in and concentrate on the catch.
Got to throw this in the end zone, I would think, Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, you've got nothing to lose at this point. I mean, it's a two-score game. I mean,
here's Hart, straight back, throws, end zone. He's got a guy out there fighting, and that's a penalty down at the goal line. Dylan Gomes was there trying to get back to the football, but was being blocked out.
Looks to me like it should be defensive pass interference.
yeah, I mean, it looked like he grabbed him and prevented him from coming back to the ball.
pass interference against the Whalers.
Brett Kamara making the call. I agree with it.
Into the good night tonight. It'll be first and goal for the Indians right at the 10.
Well, Kevin Ayala is pleading his case. I don't know why. Almost like a hockey cross-check ball.
The Indians at the Whaler 10-yard line. The quarterback Hart calls
First and goal from the 10.
to the near side left, trying to
Andrews looking for room, and he's going to be bottled up. And I wish someone would blow the whistle. The Indian coaches are screaming upstairs, blow the whistle, and these guys have been horrendous all night long.
You know, I get that everyone's playing hard, but that's just a recipe. That's just a recipe for an injury. You know, it's just silly. I don't understand the fact that they let this play go on for this long. I mean, he's basically stopped there.
Progress is there. And then he's in the grass there, and you're just asking for high school kids to get a good shot on someone, and that's just poor officiating. Second down and long now. Hart throws, end zone, caught. Graham just short at the 1 yard line. Graham White on the reception.
Wow, what a great pass there by Jackson Hart on the run. Had to avoid being hit and still manages to drop it right in there to Graham White, who caught it just inside the out-of-bounds line.
21-9, Indians threatening. They put the ball on the far hash.
at the 1 yard line, I would say. Maybe the 2. We'll call it the 2. All right, Hart calls signals, turns
This
to
is
the
Gremlick. Gremlick smashing his way in for the touchdown. Ray Gremlick from 1.5 yards out.
and the Dartmouth Indians, a 2-yard touchdown run from Ray
And the Indians creep up on the scoreboard as we look on.
15 with 28 seconds to go.
Well, it's just too bad there isn't more time on the clock. You have to think they're going to go, they're going to go for the extra point. I was thinking maybe they go for the 2-point conversion.
Freitas misses again. That's totally unlike Louis. However, there is 28 seconds left on the scoreboard clock. And
Right, the 2-point conversion would have done him any good. I thought it would have got him within 3, but no. So 21-15. You're going to go for another onside kick. You'd have to recover back-to-back onside kicks.
the probability on that is probably about 1%.
Yeah, something like that.
I think it's less than 4% in college and pro football. And Andrew's right. I don't like it in high school football. It's just 10 yards away, and one team's trying to catch it, and the other team has 4 or 5 kids ready to barrel into you. It's a dangerous part of football. I think the most dangerous part of football is what we're about to see.
And the hard part is it's tough to practice this because it's team on team, and you're going to get kids. I've seen it happen. Kids get creamed.
Right.
So as a coach, you don't really want to practice this day in and day out. So, I mean, there is an advantage, I guess, to Dartmouth kicking this if they get a good bounce, because it's probably something New Bedford doesn't practice day in and day out. So, I mean, it's just it's a crazy play.
Here's Freitas. Big hop. Ball's loose. And New Bedford may have recovered off the bounce. The ball was loose momentarily, and the Whalers,
Wow.
I believe it was Johnson who fell on it.
Johnson just came up with the biggest play of the night.
Oh, wait a minute.
Uh-oh.
Valves had it
Now there's a penalty. They're going to rerun this play.
Johnson was right there, and now we have
Crazy. Is there a penalty? Oh, procedure?
So they're going to be referees down there at the 40-yard line. Let's see what the call was.
I think Ricky White's pointing at the clock and wants 4 seconds back. 28.
28 seconds.
28 seconds.
So they put 28 seconds back on the clock. Okay, we're going to try it again. 6 men up for New Bedford. At their 45, Louis set to squib it. And it takes a low hop. The ball is loose again.
Another flag, though.
And another flag is down, but the ball was loose and New Bedford claims they have it.
Flag on the play.
Let's see what that's all about. First of all, let's find out who made the
Bedford having all kinds of problems getting these onside kicks cleanly on the defensive side. Unusual to see that.
Looks like the Whalers have recovered. Let's see
So the Whalers have recovered the last 2. It's a legal procedure against the Indians again. And I'm wondering if it's not the kicker.
I think it's the end guy who's coming up too fast.
Because Louis is like running to the right and then crossing his leg over the left.
offsetting penalties, offsides on both teams.
And now
Offsetting
they've
penalties.
called offsetting penalties.
Offside.
I think number 2 on New Bedford came up early, and Fenno for Dartmouth left early.
Okay, we're going to try it a third time. The referees are telling the kids, back up. Freitas is lecturing his team in the huddle. Here we go. Freitas checks with his teammates. Here he goes. That's a high kick this time and right into the hands of New Bedford, and this game is now over. Brunsville, has he not had a great game? He's been in the mix on everything in this game.
Yeah, you kick it to the one guy who's had the best hands on the team for New
Right.
Bedford.
So quite a comeback for the Indians. 27 seconds to go. And they will lose here on senior night to the crosstown rival New Bedford Whalers, who now have won their second game in 2 years.
Yeah, from their point of view, I know speaking to Coach DeBrito before the game, he had a lot of confidence coming in here tonight after the way they played against Bridgewater Raynham and Brockton. Both losses, but playing them very, very tough, 2 Division I schools, and coming in here against a Dartmouth team that's had trouble scoring. But some glimmer of light there, especially with Jackson Hart, the way he was really contributing offensively and using that speed and opening things up, and had New Bedford back on their heels a little bit on his first touchdown. And an onside kick recovery. But that scoop and score on the extra point or field goal attempt block
It's the ball game.
that turned into an 82-yard run by Vals, that really was the killer. Right at the end of the half, too. After the Indians had put together such a nice drive that began at their own 42.
So that'll end it here from the stadium as the Whalers take a knee, pick up their first win in the 2022 season. Comes here against their arch rivals, the Indians of Dartmouth High School, as the clock ticks down. The Indians will lose by 6. And that 6 may have occurred on the blocked field goal, Paul Santos.
Yeah, absolutely. The Indians at the end of the half marching down the field, methodically getting one first down after another, moving the chains. They were trailing 7-3. Louis Freitas was set up what looked like an automatic field goal that would have made it 7-6 at the half. Totally different situation, but no, it's blocked. Vals runs it back 82 yards the other way, and instead of it being a 7-6 game, Dartmouth found themselves down by 11, and they really were not able to recover after that. Came close at the end here, but a little too late because they didn't have enough time.
Andrew, your final thoughts?
I mean, it just came down to big plays. I mean, New Bedford had 2 big plays that got points on the board for them, and Dartmouth didn't have really any explosive plays, and that's been a process through the whole year of Dartmouth missing that explosive long run, long pass, or touchdown scoring. So New Bedford had a good game plan. They, exposed the defensive backs a little bit and had some big plays on a pass, and that's the story of the game. I mean, in the long run to get points, and that's how you got to win these games. And if you're New Bedford, you're going to take it, and you're feeling good about yourself after your first win. So, but like Paul said, there's positive things to build off. Jackson Hart looked like he's got ability to run and throw, and that's something that you got to look at if you're the coaching staff of who we're going with for the next game, the next couple of games, the Thanksgiving game. So I feel like every time we talk about a Dartmouth loss, there's positives that come out of it. So, just keep going, and it's tough to go in the consolation rounds now, but keep playing because there's that important Thanksgiving Day game.
Exactly. So just check in with the local Twitter account or Facebook. Check in with the high school's technical line, their email and website, and find out when the next game will be for the Indians. I'm assuming next Friday night, possibly here. I doubt it. It'll be a home game, but if it's here, we'll definitely be here to bring it to all you fine folks in Dartmouth. So that'll do it. From the stadium, our final score, the Whalers 21, the Indians 15. For my sidekick, Paul Santos, and Andrew Thompson, I'm Jim Thompson. Until next time, so long, everybody.